right, so as you're putting this wall in, what you're gonna notice sometimes is that here, I'm gonna zoom down just a little bit. Along these lines, where I'm actually putting the two boards together, sometimes you're gonna have gaps where you can see that the tongue and the groove aren't really combining the way that they're supposed to. You're not getting a really good tight fit. Could be because one of the boards are warped, could be because, you know, they're just not fitting together right, like they're snug. Sometimes what will happen is on these grooves that you have, right, on the groove side of the tongue and groove, like this, some of these will actually bend in. They'll get broken. Maybe it's when you were bringing the wood home. Maybe it just happened at the store or whatever it may be. And so when you try to set it on, you know, I try to put this on to one of the tongues here, like so. It may not actually fit on the way, right? Like it may be like this, where I have a gap on this side. So you can just push those down, do whatever you can, but ultimately, another good thing to have in your arsenal is a board like this. All I did was I took one of the end pieces that I had for the tongue and groove, and I cut the top off. It's not a very straight cut, as you can see. I'm kind of curving all over the place, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted to get the tongue part off of this. I wanted to get the little lip off. I'm leaving the groove side on. Now what I can do is take this groove, put it onto the board I'm trying to get into place, grab my mallet, and now I have a good solid surface to hammer down, and I can actually hammer down this piece into where I need it to be. Now, if I were to just take my mallet and start banging on this, trying to get it into place without my little board here, what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna end up smashing this tongue. And then it's not gonna fit into the groove when it comes time to actually put the next piece on. So it's really important to have a piece like this as you're going through this, if you get a few that are a little stubborn or maybe a few warped boards. So I'm gonna keep going with this. I have just two pieces up right now. The other thing you're gonna notice is that I'm starting to run into my electrical boxes. So down there, you can see that I got an electrical box to deal with. I'll do a little video and show you exactly how I'm gonna handle those electrical boxes in just a minute. All right, so I have now reached a spot on my wall where I actually ran into an outlet, and I'm gonna have to cut this out. So it's pretty straightforward here. All I did was I took the cover off. Let me zoom in here for you guys. I took the cover off and I lifted the outlet out and up, right? So good idea to turn the power off. That way you're not gonna electrocute yourself, right, when you're working on this project. So I pulled this out. What I'm gonna do is now I can kind of get in, if you can get in here and see. I can kind of see exactly the lines where this outlet is gonna line up, right? So I'm gonna mark my board, and then I'm gonna use one of these. This is a multi-tool. I have a DeWalt one with a battery on it, and I love the thing. It works really good, really good for straight cuts. And it's good for plunge cuts, meaning that I'm just gonna take it and be able to push it into the wood. Makes it really easy. So pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna mark these, cut them, and then I'm gonna be able to put the next board on. All right, so as you keep working your way up this wall, you know, I got a few rungs up here now, and not quite halfway, just about there. You wanna keep double checking this thing and making sure that you're still level. So I'm gonna throw my little level up here, double check. It's still looking good to me. So you want to do that because you want to make sure that these boards are obviously all fitting together, right? You want to make sure you didn't leave any weird gaps. And continuing to make sure that it's level as you go up is just going to make this project a lot easier for you. It's also going to make sure that it looks nice when you're all done. Make sure that these lines aren't crooked, all that kind of stuff. So the other thing you want to do too is keep checking your width. You know, I use this Bosch laser tape measure. Thing is awesome. I highly recommend getting one. So you can see here 147 and 5/16. All I'm doing with this, let me switch hands.
All you do with one of these things, I'm throwing it on the wall. I push the little button, and I don't know if you can see it. On the other side of the wall there, I get a little red dot. Click the button again, and it gives me what my length is. It makes it super, super easy to go through and do these measurements and do them really, really quickly and very, very accurately. One of these tools, I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it. I want to say that it was, I think I actually got this as a Father's Day gift, but they run you anywhere from 50 to 100 bucks, I think, depending on which one you buy and where you buy it from. But it's super, super valuable. The other settings that you have on here, you can figure out square footage. You can figure out, total volume. Lots of really cool things that you can do with this thing. So I highly recommend getting one. And as you work up this project, all I'm doing is I'm continually taking measurements before I cut my boards, because I want to make sure that they're cut just right for the space that I have. And our walls, inevitably, you're not going to have perfectly straight walls. So just because your first board that you cut was 147 inches doesn't mean you're going to be 147 inches all the way up this wall. You want to make sure you measure every single one of these boards. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some pretty unsightly gaps on the sides. And you can see I do have a couple little gaps. I'm not too concerned about it. But like I said, make sure you're constantly measuring so that these boards fit best as possible.